Welcome back to Barrel Banter.
Banter, 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 banter.
Yeah. Thank you, Peyton. Yeah, we are back. We are here, and it is Barrel Banter Super Bowl edition. That's right. Super Bowl Sunday has come and gone, and we have a new champion. So we're going to be talking about that today, amongst other things. Maybe some F1 livery launch reveals, our opinions on those, and
Let's
some
go.
worldwide of sports stuff. So that's what we're happening. Looking forward to a good show today.
Yep. It's always a weird day, the first day after a Super Bowl. It feels like it should be a holiday, but I guess that's a topic for another day.
I think we even brought that
True.
up last week. It genuinely does not make sense that Super Bowl Monday is not a national holiday.
I know it
Agreed.
should be
Agreed.
a day of mourning.
Damn. At
We have
least
to
a
wait
day of
six
getting
more
over the
months.
hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for the fine folks in Ireland, there were a few I knew that stayed up till, what was it, 4 in the morning to watch the game.
Wow.
They just said
Dedication.
it's going
Love
to
it.
be a Red Bull Monday at work. And I was like, could not be me.
Never.
No, no, I couldn't do that either.
Yeah. Love football. Can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
No,
What was
sir.
y'all's thoughts on the game?
I thought it was a good game. It was boring first half. Both teams couldn't capitalize on especially the Niners. They would start off well, driving down the field, and then they'd, either fumble, turnover, or just get stopped right, at the red zone to chip off a field goal. So that was interesting, but ultimately I thought the game was good. I thought the Niners definitely, like, that was theirs to lose. They definitely messed that up, I think. So that's unfortunate for them, but let's go Chiefs. I did call for them, so that's why I'm saying go Chiefs.
There you go.
What about y'all? What y'all think?
Yeah, I was really gearing up to rub it in y'all's faces that I picked the Niners and y'all two picked the Chiefs in our podcast last week. All signs are pointing towards a dub, but let's just say they were one missed extra point away from a Super Bowl victory. And
Yeah, brutal.
that's just brutal. But honestly, like I watched the highlights because, I had to catch up. I wasn't watching it in the middle of the night, right? And it looked like the 49ers are playing a good game. They were stopping the Chiefs on their third down conversions, playing well, looking better the whole time, and then the end of the game, it just kind of fell apart on them, and that was tough to see. I thought overall both teams are making kind of silly mistakes, fumbles on both sides, interceptions from Mahomes. But I'm kind of curious if that's just like Super Bowl jitters. Was the ball slippery? Not sure, but overall, I do think it was still a good competitive game. And who doesn't love overtime in the championship?
Yeah, that's the epitome of sports.
What y'all think about those new playoff or overtime rules? I think it's only for the playoffs, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
like
suppose it
the
is.
I like the new rules because I mean, there's nothing more annoying than someone whoever gets the ball first driving down the field and scoring a touchdown, and then it's over, and the other team doesn't get a chance just because of a coin.
Yeah,
True.
absolutely. I didn't realize it was playing much significance. Like I totally agree the new rules make so much more sense and sound a lot more fair. But I've seen a lot of talk today that the Chiefs were studying overtime rules once a week and the 49ers didn't have a clue what the rules were. Like, do y'all think that actually affected how the overtime played out?
Um, Maybe. I mean, the Chiefs were super hyper aware of it because those rules went into effect because of their game with Buffalo Bills a couple of years ago. So, you know, I'm sure that was on the forefront of their mind. And I find it very weird. A full 2 weeks of preparations, and the 49ers didn't talk about, the
Overtime.
overtime rules not
Mhm.
once. I mean,
What if?
the coaches at a minimum had to talk about it, and I would be surprised if they didn't talk about it with the players. So I
Mhm.
think that whole excuse of the players not knowing the rules was kind of foo foo, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did. That was weird.
What do y'all think about Kyle Shanahan saying he, taking the ball first in the overtime? You think that was a smart move? I feel like I would want the ball last so you can know what you got to do. You got fourth down, you can go for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely something I think is like one of those hindsight's 2020, right? You don't really know how it's going to play out till it's over, but in just regular football games, I'm always the opinion like, why not get your hands on the ball right away and just score? I mean, just do what you can out front. But again, with the new rules and the way it was, I mean, I think it's kind of, yeah, and again, hindsight 2020, you didn't know it was going to play out that way. Like, should they have gone for it and not kicked the field goal? Maybe, but
Yeah.
put some
Yeah.
ball then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then what if you don't get it, and then all the Chiefs have to do is score a field goal, which is arguably even easier. So I mean, yeah, there's like you said, hindsight's 2020. So there's a couple plays they probably 49ers could have changed, but at the end of the day, like I think they called a good game and did a good job, and I don't think they lost game. I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs just went out and won it. So I mean, I thought 49ers did a hell of a job.
Yeah. I think that honestly, their biggest mistake was, Christian McCaffrey had a fumble. That's just unfortunate. But that muffed punt, which is, I mean, not really that guy's fault, but like that's just super unfortunate. And I think that truly changed the trajectory of the game.
For
So
sure.
that was unfortunate for them. But ultimately, like you said, I mean, I think they called a good game. They played a good game. Brock Purdy, I mean, that man is going to be a legend, definitely. He's got some ice in the veins as well, like you were saying last week. But Mahomes is still he's on the
Mahomes.
trajectory to be, yeah, man. Hermit the Frog, he's doing great.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Like I said last week, the Chiefs find ways to win, and it's hard to bet against them. And yet again, they did it. And Mahomes, yeah, he's solid. He's running around. I mean, he was their leading rusher last night. I know it's just his playing style, but he does move around in the pocket a lot. But it seemed like he had more pressure on him last night and was moving a lot. And I swear that Brock Purdy was just standing still, like the Statue of Liberty, waiting to do whatever he needed to do.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, that defensive line for the Niners is so stacked, like it which makes sense. But yeah,
He had to
Purdy
move
was just
around.
having a yeah, Purdy was having a great old time. But he also was fitting the ball in some tight windows, which is really cool to see, especially for a guy that was drafted last. Wild, just wild.
Yeah, overall good. I thought there was a couple of interesting stats that came out of the plays, or sorry, out of the game. One of the curious ones, because like again, I watched the highlights and I know the first half wasn't that exciting, but at the end of the half, I believe it was Travis Kelce had one target, one reception for 1 yard, and that was it for his entire first half. And by the end, he didn't have any touchdown receptions, but he was their leading receiver with 9 receptions. So he came through and was productive. But I almost expected in this whole world of people thinking that the NFL is scripted for the Taylor Swift story that Travis would be the one that would have caught the game-winning touchdown in overtime.
Yeah.
But he contributed, but he was definitely silenced in the first half, and I noticed that he showed that frustration to Mr. Reed on the sidelines.
Oh, good old chest bump.
Bro, yeah, he's literally just bodied.
He did, he did. I loved his comment at the end.
Jeez.
I was telling him how much I love him.
Yeah. Unless you caught me mic'd up, then you'll find out.
Crazy.
What do y'all think about
Uh,
that? Do you think that was fine, or you think that was uncalled for?
I think it was a little over the edge. I mean, yeah, you can, you know, express your frustrations, but he didn't need to go body up Coach Reed. So, I don't think he meant to do that. I think he was just so hot that he just got a little out of control. But, I don't have a problem with him telling Coach, hey, give me the freaking ball. I've got no
yeah,
targets. I'm one of the best weapons. I have no problem with that. It's just, he just went a little overboard.
yeah, I would agree that it was a little too much, but you know, like you said, it's an emotional game. Emotions are very high for Super Bowl. It makes sense that it might have got the best of him, but yeah, he needs to tone it down just a little bit for sure.
Yeah, I
But
think one of those things he probably didn't intend to get contact with Andy Reid.
No.
He stepped in a little bit too hard, and Andy Reid was
Yeah.
not paying attention to him one bit. So he stumbled whenever he got pushed for sure.
I'm impressed he didn't fall.
Absolutely, that
yeah,
that would have been bad if he was on the ground.
Oh, yeah, dude.
that would have looked bad for sure.
Yeah.
So real quick, and this is kind of going forward here, but how do we feel about the Chiefs' chances of three-peating this thing?
Well, I think they have a good chance to three-peat. I mean, obviously, that's extremely hard thing to do in the NFL. I mean, let alone go
Right.
back to back. But I guess before I start saying that they got a good shot, I want to see, who they're able to re-sign and keep in the building, they draft, and see if they don't, lose too many pieces first.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they bring the same team to the field, and yeah, the same structures, they're gonna do what they did this year, and find ways to win, and they can make it happen. Absolutely. I did see, I believe that the odds already came out for the next year that the 49ers are the favorites to win the Super Bowl next year. So I find that
Did
curious.
see that.
So I don't
Yeah.
remember what source that was or what sports book had that, but I think we still got two really good teams that are gonna duke it out for, I mean, definitely playoff contention, and who knows, another appearance could be
Yeah. They're just gonna have to make
True.
sure they stay healthy.
for sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Or the Texans will go. Who knows? Yeah.
We
Whoa,
could
whoa, slow down there.
we could see, I mean, playoffs again for the Texans.
CJ Stroud.
But let's talk about Kyle Shanahan real quick and his coaching resume in the Super Bowl. As a play caller is
Rutro.
0-3 and has been outscored in the second half. I can pull up the stat in a second to really get the right facts, but it's something in the world of like 70 points to 30 points. So, what do y'all think about Kyle Shanahan's record? Do you think this is on him? What do you got?
Yeah. I don't know. I think this game they also got a lot of banged up players too in this game. So I don't necessarily know if this was his fault. I mean, of course, there's always plays that he could have called differently and stuff, but this one just
Right.
felt a little different than the other two losses. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a good look, and it just makes that monkey on his back even bigger, so to speak. Like what was the stat in the regular season of if his team is down in the fourth quarter, they were like I don't even. I'm just gonna make up a number, but it was like 0-30, and then when they came back against the Packers, that was like his first win coming from behind in the fourth quarter. So, it's not great stats, but I don't know if this loss is solely on him, but it's not a good look for sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would agree in the fact that ultimately it's not all on him, but yeah, it doesn't look great. I think if he continually keeps showing up and is getting to the Super Bowl, he's going to win one at least. I think. I mean, the more often you go, obviously, the better chance you have. But I think he's obviously a great offensively minded coach, so he'll always have a team that's capable. It's just a matter of getting it done once he gets there.
For sure.
So yeah, but he definitely needs to improve his track record. That is for sure. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize like how much the Shanahan like pedigree was a big deal in the NFL. Like, as history goes, like his dad, Mike Shanahan. I didn't realize like that whole, I guess, generational pass down was a huge deal as far as like the evolution of schemes and all that stuff
Oh
in the
yeah.
NFL. I didn't. That was very informational for me. That was cool.
Yeah, I got the stat here. He's been outscored 29-74 in the second half slash overtime in his three appearances as a play caller in the Super Bowl this year, previously as a head coach for Niners, and then when he was the OC for the Falcons in that
28-3.
infamous game. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you as a person who, kind of made a joke about making my bet on the Niners because of obscure sports stats of teams that wear white were 16-3 in Super Bowls. Now they're 16-4. Sometimes you can get a little bit in the weeds and rely too much on these stats that may not actually hold weight and could just be purely coincidental. And you're right, like play calling aside, it may not be on him where we could look at, okay, it's a missed extra point attempt away from a win, or it's a botched punt return away from a win. But also in sports, you can't put an entire game really on one play. The whole game matters. I think it's
For sure.
unfortunate.
Right.
It's not great to have it on his name, and he's going to wear that the whole offseason, and that stinks for him.
But yeah, as long as he has Brock Purdy and like that stout of a defense, they'll be in contention for the next couple years at least. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them knocking on the door next year or year after that. So, but yeah, gonna have to figure out his second half performances. That's for sure.
hmm We'll see. But other than that, I think I was pretty satisfied with the game. Thought it was a good match. Congrats to the Chiefs for their win. Congrats to Travis Kelce for getting Taylor Swift to sing him Love Story in the club afterwards. I mean, man,
Hey,
bravo.
We just love
good
love on this
point.
podcast.
Love it, love it.
Love it, love it. Will, you had a question. I interrupted
I was
you.
about to ask, was halftime. What do y'all think about that?
It felt like we were time traveling back to 2005. It was epic. I loved it.
I was about to say, I really think it depends on your generation, but I feel like our generation ate it up. I was like, how did you not get hype to the marching band coming in when Usher is singing Make Love in This Club? I mean,
Yeah.
Yes. I love that he had like Luda there. He had Little John. I thought that was fantastic, adding them in. Thought it made it like more hype in that way. So I thought it was a pretty solid performance for sure.
yeah. I first guessed Alicia Keys there. I saw some funny memes today about Swizz B,
Yeah.
Alicia Keys' husband, be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, sir, and not what we agreed to. Get off my wife."
Yeah, dude, that was a weird hug, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, that made me uncomfy for sure.
Also, the man's was sweating profusely
Oh yeah.
so much, but I
Dude,
don't blame him.
yeah,
Usher's got moves and he danced the whole time. So I did think the rollerblading was a bit interesting,
Yeah.
especially when he came out and
yeah.
slid through, was it Will.i.am? He like slid through Will.i.am's legs. Is that who that was?
I think
I,
so.
was it? I have no idea. I didn't see, so I didn't see that part. But I know that the rollerblades, I wasn't feeling that particularly, but it still was an interesting way to go about it.
But yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, ending the show with a transition from Turn Down for What to classic, yeah, having Ludacris come in, Lil Jon Usher all in there. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the better
Absolutely.
halftime shows.
I haven't watched any commercials yet. I don't know if you have any thoughts on those.
I don't know. There were some cool commercials, but it just didn't. There wasn't as much hype. I felt like when every single commercial would come on, but I don't know.
The main gist I've heard is
Ye-
that it was overproduced with the like attempt to get as many celebrities as possible, where it was just
Yeah,
celebrity overload, and then by the end you didn't remember who was in what commercial, so the brands didn't really stick.
Yeah, they all were loaded with celebrities, that's for sure. I mean, the only one I remember distinctly, and they did a good job with this because they had a ton of commercials, was the Holmes one, because there was like so many of them throughout the game, and there was just like a storyline essentially to it. So I remember that one, but like it was like home.com or something like that. But
yeah.
that's the only one I truly remember distinctly, I guess.
Oh, hey,
But yeah, they're
Gronk
kind of
missed the kick again. Did y'all see that?
the kick. No.
Yeah. So last year he did the FanDuel kick, field goal kick, and
Oh
last year he
yeah, he
way
missed it
whiffed it.
again.
Yeah, so he missed again, and there wasn't as bad a wind as last year, and he whiffed it wide right.
No, I
Can't
completely
believe
missed
it.
that. I had no clue that was a storyline to follow.
Oh yeah, they showed it like the first or second like TV timeout. Like they got it over with quick.
They said, "Yeah, we're done with that. That was terrible."
Yeah,
I love that.
never again.
Well, I think that's some good coverage on the Super Bowl there, getting our thoughts in about the game, halftime, commercials, etc. Let's move on to a little bit of a more lightning round and go around and chat about other sporting things that might have happened this week, other events, news, etc. Will, you want to talk about any of the liveries that dropped this week?
For sure, I would love to. Let's open up and talk about that lime green livery on that Stake F1 car. I think that thing was K Razzie. They went bold, and I love it. Love
Hey,
it. What do y'all
Razzie,
think?
baby.
Dude, is it just me or did it look like it was like should be a part of the Tron movies?
It's otherworldly
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes, they went bold and they rocked it. I think it's gonna be great.
I give them 5 gold stars for the commitment to the lime green, neon green, whatever you'd call that, plastering it everywhere. I love
Mhm.
that the rear wing and the front wing are covered in it. I don't think it's well designed. I think it's kind of random, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had
Yeah, it's
State.
gonna
Um,
look real sick at the back of the grid, fighting for 18th and 19th with Haas.
Oh man, I don't know if
r-
it's that bad, but we'll see. We'll see. Past that, what else do we
hopefully,
have?
hopefully not for the. Let's talk about the one I think we all want to talk about, and that's that Visa Cash App
Woo!
livery for the old RB team.
The V Carb 01. Let's go.
Oh, that name's terrible, but the car looks
Love it.
sweet. I think Will, you were saying it looks like a Hot Wheels car. I would agree. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's good color scheme, everything, the design. It's kind of funny having the old Visa right across the middle there, and I love it. I just genuinely love it. So I'm excited to see it on the track.
I'm with you. I think it's incredible. It might just be because right before that, we've gotten the Alpine launch, which was a carbon majority car with little color. And then AlphaTauri comes and saves, sorry, not AlphaTauri, my bad. V-Carb, Visa Cash App, Red Bull comes and saves us from the
Woo!
carbon plague and just loads it down with color. Those guys could care less about pulling up the rear. They want to look good doing it and collect money as they pass go.
Heck yeah.
I thought it was good. I love the colors,
Let's go.
love the teammates. I think they're gonna have fun.
I was gonna say I think it makes it even better. that Daniel Ricciardo's in that car, so it's gonna be awesome.
And they launched it
Yeah.
with Kendrick Lamar.
Oh,
Great.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing about their launch is they didn't live stream it. They did this big Vegas production, but did not live stream it like anybody else was, which people thought was interesting. They kind of posted things after, but Kendrick Lamar came out and performed. Danny Rick and Yuki are there in Vegas. That's why it was so late. It ended up being the next day in the morning over here in GMT, where they were doing it, I think 10:30 p.m. Vegas time. And it was a big production, but no live stream for the fans. That was
Oh,
interesting.
weird.
So maybe it was just for the Visa and Cash App executives or something to see their money go to a good spot.
I mean, I wonder if that's the way they're going. Like that's gonna be if people are getting away from the live events for them. I hope they don't, but that might be where they're headed with the reveals, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's actually a good question about what is the best, livery launch style and production where Steak does a pretty big production, brings everybody into London, has a big team launch, but they're also a new brand, a new identity, and we know that whatever's under the cover is going to be new and exciting. Whereas Aston Martin just today unveiled their car in a 2-minute video, no flash, no bang, just straight up, here's our car. Thank you. And it's
Yeah,
like, that was it. But it was the same as last year. The brand identity stayed the same. And it's kind of like, it's not broken. It's a good livery. Keep it going.
Yeah.
And there it is. Which Aston Martin livery
yeah,
looks clean. I like it.
yeah. I was not no complaints. It's nothing like nothing wowed me, but nothing, no complaints. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it's just a classic look. I mean, it would have been way worse if they would have changed it up, in my opinion. So yeah, for sure, they
Yeah,
did a good job.
I think what is exciting
I
that
think.
I learned this morning is that Hugo sponsors VCarb and Boss sponsors Aston Martin. So we might get Hugo Boss battling each other on the racetrack.
I like it. I like it.
Could be
Interesting.
fun.
So,
I
who
thought
has
I thought it was
revealed
one
their
company.
liveries? Oh,
I thought it was one company too. That's why I was like, maybe they're like one company with sub brands. But either way, Hugo is on the V Carb and Boss is on the Aston Martin.
It's weird.
interesting. Yeah, they got to be like subsidiaries of each other. I don't know, something like that. Sister brands or something.
Yeah. What were you
Um,
gonna say, Will?
well, I was just asking. So, which teams have revealed their liveries so far? We got what? Haas, Williams, Stake, F1, RB team, Alpine, Aston Martin. Is that it? McLaren. Okay, that's right. So three more.
So we're down to 3. Yeah.
Going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think the rest are gonna be pretty predictable. I'm guessing red car for Ferrari, which they've basically already teased today. A black car for Mercedes, and I bet you'll never guess what Red Bull's doing, but I'm gonna guess a dark blue car with Red Bull logos on the engine cover. Think that'd be pretty
Mm,
cool.
with Oracle.
They should make it glossy like they did for a Visa Cash App, because that actually looked cool. I'm kind of bored on the whole matte finish look.
Yeah, I would love more liveries to glossy. I've heard people betting that V carb will lose the gloss first for weight saving, because I believe it's another layer on the outside of just like clear ink. So if they go matte, then we're doomed.
I mean, how much time could that actually save you?
1,000th of a second, maybe. I
Stupid.
do not think it's substantial.
It's definitely not going to help them go from last to first. That's for sure.
Well, good old V Carb is getting their parts out of Milton Keynes and the Red Bull Technology Center now. So they might be blasting themselves the way to the tippy top. If that happens, we might have to have another conversation podcast about that after our preseason testing comes up soon.
Yeah, what's that? That's 2 weeks away, right?
I think it's quick, yeah, because the first race is March.
Yeah, end of the month.
No, it's coming up quick.
Dang, we're coming up.
Looking forward to it. Well, Peyton,
Can't
you
wait.
got other sporting event stuff this week you want to hash out in our last lightning round here?
Yeah. So, last week was the NBA trade deadline. We didn't really have any superstars get traded, just a lot of contenders making trades for good, role players and, trying to get a little deeper to make the playoff push. So, as NBA's, becoming known for is the trade deadline, and it was active and did not disappoint once again.
It was indeed. There was a lot of movement, for depth, definitely amongst the NBA. I'll be curious to see. Honestly, the biggest story to me is the Milwaukee Bucks. After the coaching change, I'm really curious to see what ends up happening with them. But because that's a quick turnaround, try to get Doc Rivers and his system into that team for the playoffs.
For sure.
But hey, just to switch gears real quick, did y'all see that interview of Michael Bublé at the NHL All-Star Weekend?
No, what happened?
Was that real? Was that
Yeah, bro? It was real.
He was on drugs, right?
He was on mushrooms. He said that. So he said in the interview that it was like a friend that gave him like a microdose, which in reality, apparently, though, it was truth. It was supposed to be a microdose, but it was just like it hit him hard. And so that man was just blasted the whole time. And I don't know. I thought the interview was pretty funny. It was hilarious.
Michael Bublé? What happened? Run this back for us.
Dude, so from my understanding, he went and played. He played in the All-Star game, like the celebrity game, or like a skills challenge or something like that. So he was a part of that, and he had an interview after, and he was like, "You'll have to watch the video," but basically, just like, my friend told me that this was a microdose of mushrooms, and he lied. He's like, I felt like I was on Blades of Glory out there. This is ridiculous. And so he keeps going on, and it's hilarious, dude. You got to watch it. So any of those listeners that are listening as well, just definitely go watch that video. I thought it was quite funny.
That's crazy. I saw like a headline and I thought that was something that was fake, but good on you, Bublé. Good on you. I do want to give y'all one quick update about our Six Nations tournament that I love so dearly. Ireland hosted Italy in Dublin this past weekend and absolutely dominated, taking them down 36-0.
Whoa, come on.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I think that was the first time that Ireland had completely shut out Italy. Italy's not great, usually lower in the tournament anyways, but Ireland's looking dominant. They're ready to go for another Grand Slam this year. So I'm loving it. I'm into it. And yeah, if y'all have started watching, keep watching the Netflix show. I think it's a good idea. But yeah, that's our little sports rundown lightning round. And that's our pod for the week. I really appreciate everybody out there who's listening to us. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know any segments you want to hear. Give us, the 5-star ratings, like, subscribe, comment, all the above. Find us on the socials. Get more good content like Peyton's rant about Gene Haas last week. It's a good time.
Yo,
Peyton,
I'll work on my rant for next week.
Yes.
Yeah, Peyton, you got a closing thought. You got a closing rant in there in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, I am kind of sick and tired of these NFL, riders like the Adam Schefters of the world jumping the gun and, saying someone's been hired. For example, they're saying Mike Zimmer has been hired for the defensive coordinator position for the Cowboys, but then we find out that, oh wait, that actually isn't happening. Now they're considering Rex Ryan, but yet they're still negotiating contracts. So it's just they're like so quick to be the first ones to report it that they jumped the gun. And it's like, same thing that happened with Cliff Kingsbury. He got announced for the Raiders, and then 2 days later, he's the Commanders coordinator. So I just wish these writers would just tone it down a little bit, quit jumping the gun. Let's let the ink dry so then we're not getting even more confused.
Amen to that, brother.
Slow down, journalist. Slow down.
Slow down.
Will, you want to wrap us up and take us home?
Yeah, boys. All right. Thank y'all for listening, everybody. And we're going to close this out. So this has been Barrel Banter with the boys. This is Will.
This has been Jared.
This has been Peyton.
And this has been Barrel Banter, boys. See ya.
You've just listened to an episode of Barrel Banter Podcast. Subscribe to the show so you'll be notified every time a new episode drops. Support the show by giving us a 5-star rating and sharing with your friends. Follow us on social media at Barrel Banter Podcast.